Welcome everyone to week 3. We just want you to give yourself a nice big congratulations for being here, whether you're in week 3 of the program or you're weeks to months out. You've done a great job so far, and I just want to encourage you to keep going. I want you to make sure you've taken a look at week 2 that has our videos for activating your deep core and the common anatomy cueing. They're great resources for you to take a look at, and I encourage you to do so. We're going to go ahead and get started with our week 3 and just keep the momentum going. You're doing a great job so far. Here we go. So we're ready to get started. We're going to go right ahead and get into our warm-up. I want you to grab a chair and just bring it close by. We're going to use that as part of our workout today. So going ahead and getting started, just starting to warm up the body. Easy shoulder circles. So these are becoming nice and familiar now. This is that moment where you start connecting in with the body, with the feet all the way down to the toes. They're spread, your arches are lifted. We're doing some nice easy shoulder circles, shoulder blades up on the body and shoulder blades down on that rib cage. A couple of more here, and let's switch directions. So coming up and rounding and forward, just warming up that shoulder blade on the rib cage. Just a couple more here, then last one, and we're going to go ahead and turn to the side, placing our foot on the chair. So find that nice length through your spine. We're bending one knee and placing it onto the chair. In this position here, you can either have the foot flat or tucked under. We want to imagine drawing a line between our pubic bone and our bottom ribs or our sternum. We're stretching the front of that thigh, and we're going to add some small arm circles. So just easy motion here as we're thinking about elongating through our front body. We might even draw the hips slightly forward to enhance our stretch. Inhaling to come up, exhaling as you come down. Last 3, and 2, and 1. We're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So find your foot stance, the arch, bend the other knee, placing it on the chair flat or tucked. We're going to lengthen through our back, draw the pubic bone to the sternum, long through the front body, hips forward slightly, and this time we'll go into a pulse back. So we're elbowing behind us and then straight arm back. Warming up the arm bone in the socket. We'll go through another 5 and 4. Last 3. You can keep your arms low or at shoulder height. Last 1 and down. We're going to go ahead and have a seat on the chair. So bringing the hips back, having a seat and down. Nice and long and tall through our spine. We're bending and hinging forward and reaching our arms to circle around. So switching sides. We're stretching and elongating the back of the thigh. Nice easy motion here, working on that hip hinge and feeling that nice length through here. We don't want to go so far that we have to start rounding to go down. So it's just a nice hinge and a nice lengthening through to the back. We're going to go last 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and last 1. Putting your hands to your hips, bringing your right foot out. Nice and long and tall through the torso. We're going to lift the foot just a little and just point and flex the foot. Point and flex. So we're starting to get active through our pelvic floor, our transversus, our multifidi. We're warming up a little bit of the front of the thigh and the ankle. Last 2 and 1. Go ahead, switching sides. Thinking about equal weight, both sitting bones, pulsing for about 8 or so. And you're just flexing and pointing, flexing and pointing. Last 4, nice and tall, 3, stack that head, 2, and 1. Going back through another set of hinges for 8, and 7, and 6. So keeping tall through the body, ribs are connected through to that pelvis. Last 4 and 3, last 2 and last one. Elbows back for another set of pulses. So for 8, 7, just warming up the body, getting the joints moving. 6, starting to connect through with your deep inner core. Last 3, and 2, and last 1. A little bit of side to side motion, so hand comes up and a small side bend over, and then center, hand up, and a side bend over. Imagine that you're lifting up and over your armpit to the side you're bending. So instead of cinching in, we're getting tall and over. Last 3, and 2. Equal weight on both those bones. Last 1, and down. We're going to go ahead and get ready to get into our circuit. So before we do, just lifting those toes, spread those arches. Let's come up part way with the hands, warming up the ankles one last bit onto the toes, and coming on down. So easy ankle warm up. Again, we're not going too high here, just a little bit of a lift, not onto a super high toe, but let's say a midway lift with that ankle joint. Last 3. Good, so warming up the core in a standing position, feeling nice and connected, keeping those shoulders just gently cascading down the back so you're not pulling them down, but you're not letting them rise either. This will be our last one, and we're going to get ready for our circuit. So you're going to go ahead and grab your lighter set of weights to get started. And our first move is a squat press, and we're going to pair that today with a seated tricep extension and or a dip. So just warming up that hinging action, remembering to hinge as you sit into a squatting motion. So hinge and sit, staying quiet through your torso. We're going to have the hands in this position today, and at the top of our lift, we're going to add an overhead press. If you feel like you can't go overhead with your shoulders for any reason, you can either skip the weights or just keep your arms right out front and do a pull. We're going to pair that with our seated tricep, so a seated position. Just like in our previous week 1, we're leaning and hinging forward, elbows high and extending back. From here, we're going to turn that into a dip. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set the timer and we're ready to go. Perfect. So we're ready with our squat and press. So to start, level 1, let's start. Hands are going to come forward. We're sitting, hands up and press. And forward and press. Forward and press. Once you've got the hang of it, you can keep your hands in this position and press as you're coming up. So it's sit and press. Sit and press. Keeping connected of your sternum to your pubic bone. You're active in your deep inner core. You can widen your stance if need be for a little bit of added support from the hips. We're going to go through another 9 seconds. Last few. Exhaling to press. Go ahead and grab your weights. Sitting in a nice position here. Nice and tall, stacking the head. We're going to find a small hinge of that hip. From here, we're bringing our elbows behind us. We're broad through the front, but we're not squishing the blades. It's a long arm back. So you're focusing on lengthening your baby finger to the wall behind you and partially to the ceiling as well. The further tip forward you have, the more effort this is going to be in the arms. So this is our level 1 move for today. In our second series here, we're going to go and extend this into a dip. So exhaling as you press back. Exhale to press. You're working with 3 to 5 pounds here. If you're new to this, I'm going to have you work at the 3. And if you've been at it for a while, you're going to go to that 5. So moving right into our squat press. This can be a 3 or a 5, or not overhead if you have a shoulder issue. Getting ready, we're going to squat, press, squat, press. So we're keeping awareness in our feet. We're watching that they're not collapsing to the midline, nor are we standing on the outer border of that foot. As we're pressing, here's where it's easy to start hiking those shoulders up. So as always, imagining there's this line, a V, that runs from your shoulder to the middle of your back. And you want to imagine as you press up and over that you're also being connected with your shoulder blades to the middle part of your spine. We're exhaling through the push. 4 more seconds. We're almost there. So you're either going back to your extension, your seated extension, or bring your hands onto your chair, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to move you into a small dip. Your hands are on the sides of your chair, and you're bringing your body weight just off of the chair. If you find this position hard on your shoulder in any way, you go back to the extension. From here, using your legs, take a small bend in your elbow, and then push with your feet and the backs of your arms to come up. Your elbows are reaching to the wall behind you, and you really do not need a big movement here. It's nice and small. You're more concerned on the pushing back up than the lowering down. So let's focus on the push up, less on the lowering down. Exhale to come up. Oh, we're already there. Moving into our last set of squat press. So grab your weights, getting ready. Nice wide feet, long and tall, and really connected into that core. Finding our hip hinge, and press. Squat and press. You don't need to work with the chair. You can bring yourself off and add a little bit of depth to that. Really focus on sitting back into the hips. So there's no need forward with this. It's all a sitting back motion and up. So sitting back and up. Watch those ribs. They may want to pop forward on you, so keep them connected to the pelvis. Squat and press. Squat and press. You're doing great. You've got just under 10 seconds to go. Watching out for those shoulders and ears. Good. Your last set of dips. So either onto your last set of extensions or to dip, bringing yourself forward. Tall body. Connect with the breath. And then lower and press back up. Lower, press back up. Allow your feet to help you here. You don't want this to become a strain on your shoulder joint. You might even choose to just stay in high arms and hold the position, or go back to that dip, keeping it small. Elbows back behind you. Find that breath. Exhaling to come up. Inhale, exhale. We've got to be getting close, so you're at 9 seconds to go. You can go to just a straight hold, or you can always go back to the tricep extension. Ding, there you go. Bringing yourself up, we're going to get ready for our next move. Bringing your chair out front. Go ahead and find your hinge, hands to the chair. You're going to widen your feet on either side of that chair. From your hinge position, we're sitting and reaching the buttock back behind you, bending one knee. And then back to center. You're going to hinge again, reach the butt back behind you, and come on back up. So you're simultaneously lengthening one leg while you bend the other. When you're doing this one, you want to imagine again that knee tracking over that second toe. It doesn't have to be a big movement here. It's just a small bend and come back to center. Hinge, one side, back to center. So your femur bone is turning out slightly in the socket as your hip reaches back out behind you. Perfect. We're going to pair this with a one leg curl and raise. So bringing your chair off to the side, go ahead and grab your weights, bringing them onto your right foot, spreading the toes, finding the arch, connecting with that core. We're going through a curl and a lift. And so onto the 1 foot curl and lift. I'm going to go palms forward and then turn my arm bones, palms down. So there's an arm bone turn here within this motion. You're keeping yourself balanced on that one leg or tapping it down behind you to regain balance. We're always focused on our core as well, firing throughout. So curl and press. You want to keep that femur bone and kneecap really centered over the center of your ankle. So you are working from your hip here to control that. We're going back to our side lunge. So chair out front, place the weights down, wide feet. To keep this in a smaller range of motion, what you could do is take your hands and tap to one side. So more of a level 1 is just tap the knee side to side. Once you've got the hang of it, you can start to really hinge and get a little deeper. And once you've got the hang of it, you can go ahead and take your hands away from the chair. So you can monitor your spine here. It shouldn't feel as though that's moving. It's all about that hip hinge, hip reaching back behind you. You'll often have one side that's a little bit easier than the other. So not to push the range on the more challenging side, but just to learn the movement of hinging and knee bending with a forward bend of the torso. You've got a few seconds to go. You're almost there. And we're back to our curl. Grabbing a hold of your weights onto your one other foot this time. We'll move our chair off to the side. So here we are ready to curl and lift. Once you've got the arm motion ready and in the body, you can go ahead and lift that back leg, practicing balance and coordination at the same time as strength. So it's a curl and lift. You can add a little bit of speed if you've got good technique here and great balance. Remember to turn the arm bones in the sockets to point forward and then palms down. Again, we're lifting by reaching wide as opposed to hiking those shoulders up. So keep those shoulders relaxed, supported from the back of your shoulder blade. Good, we're getting close. You got 1 second to go onto your last set. So either bringing the chair back out or working without, going into that wide stance. Level 2, you're bringing your hands a little high, either in this position, low elbows or high elbows, and you're working onto that hinge, but without having the hands to guide you. So a little more challenge here. Elbows lower is slightly easier for you to do. Elbows high, more challenging, just watch it's not going into your neck. Again, watch those ribs and the pelvis are staying connected. Wide to the side, sitting the hips back. You're using your breath. You've got strong arms, strong legs, strong core. Staying with whatever is right for you. Remember, you can go back to just the knee taps, side to side. Got 2 seconds to go, and we're almost done. We're ready with this curl and raise. We're going to swap feet this time. Either a step or a hop. So we'll curl, turn, lift, together. Curl, turn the arm bones, lift, together. Curl, turn the arm bones, lift, together. I've got lots of focus into the core as I'm doing this, making sure that I'm really feeling that pelvic floor, my transversus and my multifidi, all supporting me with even the outer layer of my abdominals here. I'm staying broad through the front body. For those of you who want a little more adventure, you can hop your feet as you switch right to left. We're almost done with 8 seconds. Keep the breath going. Stay connected to your core and your mechanics. Beautiful. We're getting into our last move. So we're going to start with our skater arms and hops. So getting ready into position, we're going to be coming into a small squat, hands high. From here, I want you to reach your right leg out to the side. Take your hands down and then bring your hands in opposition to the other side. Go through center and switch. Center and switch. So this is just getting the motion going. You're in an athletic stance at center. Your leg reaches wide as your hands go opposite. And as we get into it, we'll add challenge by getting lower and deeper. And in the next set, we'll go forward and we'll add a hop. So just getting the motion going, it can be a high movement or a low movement. So just thinking about a speed skater going down the track. Nice and smooth. Good, we're gonna go into our last move with this. So turning your chair forward, we're gonna focus on finding our hip hinge. Good, from this hinge position, you can bend the knees as much as you'd like, placing the hands down onto the chair. You're gonna step one leg back, take a breath, exhale, find that core, second leg back, up and up. So it's going to be a hinge, hands, step, core, out, up, and up. So just getting ready for our chair burpee. I'm sure everyone just did a nice groan there. Hinge, hands, step, and step. If you don't want to add the full weight of your body to this, just step out and step back. Hinge, step, and step. So hinge, step, and up. Getting ready back to our skater move. We just have one of these paired with this one here. So we're gonna go right into the dynamic load. Getting nice and low, finding my arms, hopping to the other side. So I'm focusing on skating down that track, doing a small hop step. I've got an arch in my feet. I'm focusing on how my foot lands on the ground. There's that connection of the ribs into the pelvis. And I'm just focusing on getting as low as I can, sharing the load with the buttock and the front thigh, focusing on being a nice, efficient, smooth skater. Keeping going with that. You've got 15 seconds. Again, be mindful of what the neck is doing and how the shoulders are. You're pretty close. 6 seconds to go. Keep focused on that core. Beautiful. Back to our chair burpee. Either sticking with where you're at or adding the hop. So getting ready, find the breath, find a hinge. Hands, step, step, up and up. Hinge, step, step, up and up. So as we're doing this, really focus on connecting with the base of the shoulder. You don't want to feel like you're sinking as you get into that so nice, long and tall. If you're really getting the hang of it, you can add a double hop and up. Hinge, hop, hop, and up. Hinge, hop, hop, and up. So wherever you're at, my encouragement is to focus on how is my core firing and how are my shoulders supporting me. You're done already. So we're going to take this and we're going to go down onto the mat for our other exercises. So we're ready to start our mat exercises. We're going to start with the chest press. The movement starts with the hand out front. It'll be pointing to the sky once you're on your back. And you simply bring your elbows straight out to the side to form a box. So it goes from straight to a box. You want to be mindful that your hands don't start reaching or tipping towards the floor. That's a very vulnerable position for the shoulder. So we're going straight to a box. You come down onto your mat. Have your weights close by. So grab your 5, bring them close by. If you'd like to start with a 3, that's fine too. Onto your side and down onto your back. You're going to bring the weights in nice and close towards your chest, grabbing hold of both. From here, you're going to straighten your arms out to the ceiling with your palms facing your feet. Take a moment to just check your alignment. Tailbone is heavy on the floor, chin is slightly tacked. We'll take a moment to activate our deep internal core muscles. And then from here, we're going to form the box out to the side. Exhale to press. So we're going to move through 25 of these presses Inhaling to come down, exhale to go up. Inhale to go down, exhale, reconnect with that core with each exhalation and each press. The movement is to strengthen the front of the chest, the pectorals, and the back of the arm, the tricep. You want to be careful as you're in this move that you're not allowing the weights to creep overhead towards the floor, as that's that vulnerable position to the shoulder. So it's a straight press and a box. We're moving through about another 12 here. Your feet are equal distance apart. And if you find this challenging and you're starting to lose form, you can change to your lower weight. Or as we're approaching the 25, if you find that you could use some more weight or more challenge, you can up this to an 8 pounds for your second and third time this week. So we've got another 4. So back of the arm is working, front of the chest is working. 3, you can think about squeezing those 2 places gently to really involve the muscles in the movement. Last 2, and last 1. We'll bring them in close and then placing them onto the floor one at a time. We'll get ready for abdominal curls. So moving forward from last week, let's get started activating our deep internal core, placing the left hand behind the head. Connect with that inner cylinder. Really feel it connecting as you tuck your chin. All aspects are firing, the pelvic floor, across the front, and that lifting sensation up the low spine and the back. From here, chin is tucked. We'll lift the head, and now it's all about a rib curl. We're going to go ahead and bring the right knee to 90 degrees. And to add challenge this week, as you come down, the leg will extend straight. And as you exhale, it'll come in. So it's an extension and a flexion. You want to be careful that you're well and truly moving with the rib cage and not pulling the head and neck to do this move. And as you gain strength, to add even more challenge, you can lower the leg lower to the floor and then curl to come back. Lower, connect, and curl. You might want to break it down into smaller motions of lower, lift, bend, and curl. And once you've got the hang of it, it can become a nice smooth motion. As the leg lowers to the floor, be careful that your back doesn't go into an arch in your low spine. So you really need to feel that core muscle system stopping you from arching your back and really drawing the leg bone into the socket. We'll go last one. And down. Place that foot onto the floor. Go ahead and switch hands. Seeing the elbow out of the corners of your eyes, we'll connect in with that deep inner core again. Feeling as though the leg bones are being drawn right into the low belly. We'll float the left leg up, relaxing the front of the thigh here. Take a breath, tuck the chin, activate, and curl. So you can go ahead right away to the extend and curl. We're moving through 15 on this side. If you feel as though the movement starts to go into the neck, you can place the feet back down on the floor and take 2 hands to the back here, tucking the chin and really supporting the head, focusing here and the rib curl. So you're staying with that extend and lengthen for level 2 or level 1, just learning how to find that curling action in the rib cage. Good, last 5. Can be really easy as you get tired to start wanting to jut the chin forward and not use the abdominals. So last 3. If you find that's happening, just stop and you can come back to this later in the week. Last 1. And down. Arms open to the side. We're going to just allow the knees to sway a little bit right to left. Nice and easy motion here. Nothing too big. It's just a nice small unlocking of the back. And then we'll turn onto your side. Take your head onto your hand, and you're going to extend the top leg a little bit back behind you. Bring your front leg forward. Take your hand up and overhead, and you're thinking about elongating through that front line. So we've just been contracting forward, and now we want to lengthen that muscle system. And take a breath here. and out. Hand can go also onto the floor, and in, and out. And we'll do one more. Inhale, and out. Coming back through center, I'll go over to the other side. So bringing yourselves up and over. Back down onto the side. You're going to take the opposite leg back behind you, bottom leg forward, taking the hand up and overhead for an abdominal stretch, front line stretch. Taking 3 breaths in here, inhale, and out. Last 2, hand can reach forward as well. And last 1. Coming back up and onto our hands and knees. We're going to finish with another set of push-ups. So level 1, we're sticking with our high hip push-up here, or we're going to a wall instead. So this move can be done at the wall, standing with your hands at about shoulder height. You have a slight flare in that tailbone, but we're not collapsed in our low back. Bottom ribs are connecting through to the pelvis, so like that crisscross action. We're not heavy-hearted, so we don't want to be sagging here, but we're gently lifted through the back of the heart, not so much so that we're in a rounded position here. Head is held with the alignment to the rest of the spine. So to get started, level 1, here we're just bending and straightening. So bending and straightening. Like a strong dancer's frame, we're trying not to collapse our head or our shoulders as we lower ourselves towards the mat. You can move in a smaller range of motion as feels good to you. For added challenge this week, you can walk the knees back slightly and start to bring the hips and the pelvis more towards the mat so that you're in more of a straight line here. Your shoulders are still over the wrists, and we're going to bend and straighten. So wherever you're at, we're going to move through another 8. So inhale down, exhale up. Watch that head. As we get tired, it really wants to start moving forward. You've got 5 to go. You can do it wherever you're at. 4. Last 3. Strong shoulders. 2. And last 1. Wonderful, good job. Wide knees here. You're going to sit the hips back and reach your hands forward. So either a high hip child's pose stretch, or if you have the flexibility, you can bring the hips to your ankles. You may even want to put a pillow in behind there, just to make it a little more comfortable. So in whatever position you find comfortable, we're reaching our fingers slightly forward away from us as we reach our hips back behind us. If you need to place your head on a towel or a pillow for support, you can do that as well. Taking 3 breaths here and out. 2 more. And last 1. Walking our hands over to your left, we're opening up our right side waist. Fingertips are gently reaching away as the hips sit back. Feeling a breath into the side ribs. And 1 more. And then over to the other side. Sitting and reaching back, breath in. Last 2. And last 1. To finish, we're going to stretch the front of the thigh. So bringing your right knee forward. If you need to, you can grab a block and place it underneath your knee. That way it can really help you to keep your hips level side to side. In this position here, we'll straighten the bottom foot. And we're going to think about taking our pubic bone right to our nose, like connecting in the front line. That might be enough to stretch the front of that thigh. If not, you can think about bringing your hips slightly forward, and then we're going to bring our hands up and down. So just for another 5, we're just opening up this front line. Our stretch is in the front thigh. 3, 2, and 1. Switching feet. So bringing your other leg forward. Again, placing a block or pillow under your knee if that helps you to feel you can keep your pelvis more level. And then from here, pubic bone to nose, leaning slightly forward to stretch the front of the thigh there. For 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, the last one. Beautiful, coming down to the mat. You've done a great job for today. As we move forward, we're going to introduce a new prop. So we have an elastic TheraBand here. If you don't have one already, you can usually buy these at a drugstore in the medicinal section. If you're having a hard time locating one, let me know via email or the Facebook page, and I will send you some links as to how you can order one online. So we're going to add this in the next few weeks, and I'm really just excited to keep going. So keep it up, keep doing these videos, and look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.